Hey everyone, welcome back to the Gold IRA Blueprint podcast. We're diving deep today into something that could really benefit you, especially as we head into 2025.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about diversifying your IRA with precious metals.
That's right. You know, gold always gets a ton of attention,
Of course, yeah.
but it's not the only player in the game, right?
Definitely not. Gold is definitely like a solid foundation for any precious metals IRA. But, adding other metals like silver, platinum, even palladium can really unlock your portfolio's full potential.
Okay, so before we get into the nitty-gritty, just for anyone who might be new to this, can you kind of explain what a self-directed IRA is and how it works with precious metals?
Absolutely. So basically, a self-directed IRA puts you in the driver's seat. It gives you way more control over your retirement investments.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And unlike traditional IRAs, which usually just limit you to like stocks and bonds, the usual suspects,
Right.
a self-directed IRA lets you branch out. You can invest in things like real estate or, for our purposes today, precious metals.
So it's like you get to choose your own adventure for retirement.
Exactly. You're literally taking the wheel and picking the path that you think is going to get you where you want to go.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense.
You're not investing in paper. You're investing in the actual physical assets.
So what you're saying is we can actually build a retirement portfolio that includes like physical gold bars, other precious metals.
Exactly. Now, of course, to make this all happen, you're going to need to work with a custodian.
Right.
And they specialize in self-directed IRAs and precious metals. They'll handle all the boring stuff, the storage, and all the logistical details, so you don't have to.
No, that's good.
And if you're feeling kind of overwhelmed by trying to find the right custodian, don't worry, we got you covered. Head over to goldarablueprint.com/exclusive. We have a free checklist there that walks you through the process of choosing the right custodian.
Okay, that's super helpful. So let's talk diversification. Why is this so important when we're thinking about precious metals? Wouldn't just holding more gold be like, the safer bet? Especially since, it's considered that hedge against inflation.
Well, gold definitely has its strengths, right? No doubt about that. It's been a safe haven for centuries. But here's the key. Each metal reacts differently to different economic conditions. For example, you've got silver. Unlike gold, it has this huge industrial demand. We're talking electronics, solar panels, all sorts of stuff. So when the economy is booming, silver often sees a nice price jump too. Remember what happened with palladium between 2020 and 2022?
Oh, yeah, I read about that. Prices like skyrocketed like 60% or something like that.
Exactly. And you know what drove that? It was that global chip shortage. And those supply chain disruptions, they really messed with production of catalytic converters.
Oh, wow.
And guess what? Palladium is crucial for those. So yeah, while silver's doing its thing in a good economy, palladium can just shoot up in price, even during like disruptions, if its supply and demand gets thrown out of whack.
So basically by spreading out your investments like across these different types of metals, you could potentially see higher returns overall.
That's the big idea. It's like having multiple engines powering your portfolio.
Right.
Diversifying means you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. You're setting yourself up to benefit from like the unique growth drivers of each metal.
It's really interesting because, it makes me think with platinum playing such a big role in electric vehicles,
Yeah.
that could be another metal with a really, really bright future.
You're absolutely right. Platinum, it's used in those hydrogen fuel cells and those EV batteries. And if the world going crazy for electric vehicles, demand for platinum, well, it's likely to just keep going up.
Makes sense.
Oh, and there's another factor here too. Those emission standards, especially for diesel vehicles, are getting tighter globally. And those rely heavily on platinum for their catalytic converters.
Oh, interesting.
So platinum is kind of riding this double wave. It's benefiting from the growth of electric vehicles and this continuing need to make traditional vehicles cleaner.
So it's like it's riding the wave of change in the entire auto industry.
Exactly. And here's a key difference between platinum and palladium. Platinum tends to be easier to buy and sell. It's got more consistent demand across different sectors. That liquidity is something to think about when you're planning your overall portfolio strategy.
Right. Okay, so we've got gold as that kind of like stable foundation. We've got silver with those industrial uses.
Right.
And then platinum with its connection to like the future of cars.
Exactly.
So what about palladium?
Yeah.
Where does that fit in all of this?
Palladium, even though it's been kind of a roller coaster price-wise lately, it's still super important for catalytic converters, especially for those gas-powered vehicles. Now, you might think the shift to electric cars means palladium's days are numbered, but hold on.
Okay.
This transition to all electric is going to take a while. Palladium is probably going to stay in demand for a good while longer, especially since different countries are moving at different speeds to phase out those gas guzzlers.
So it's not necessarily like an either between platinum and palladium?
Not at all. The key is that each metal has its own strengths and its own risks.
Right.
Palladium might be more prone to price swings because it's so tied to the auto industry. But, hey, it also has the potential to really take off, say, if there's a sudden jump in demand for traditional vehicles or if supply chains get messed up again.
So really it's all about understanding the nuances of each metal and how they fit with your own personal risk tolerance and what you're hoping to achieve with your investments.
Exactly. And let's not forget about those sweet tax advantages that come with having precious metals in a self-directed IRA.
Oh, right.
Your investments, they grow tax deferred. That can really boost your gains in the long run. It's like getting a little bonus from Uncle Sam just for being smart about your retirement.
And what about estate planning? I've heard that precious metals can play a role there too.
Absolutely. Integrating precious metals into a trust, that can really help soften the blow of estate taxes, especially as we're heading into 2025 with those estate tax thresholds changing. One strategy you might want to talk to your financial advisor about is using those valuation discounts for fractional ownership of metals.
Oh, okay.
This approach can actually shrink your taxable estate value, ensuring a smoother transition of wealth to your loved ones.
Wow, that's a lot to think about.
It is, but it's exciting stuff.
It sounds like diversifying your gold IRA, it's more than just a smart move. It's almost essential if you want to really maximize your returns and protect your financial future.
You got it. It's about grabbing the reins of your retirement savings and building a portfolio that matches your unique needs and long-term goals.
This has been a really, really eye-opening deep dive. I feel like I've got a much better grasp of the different precious metals out there and how they can play a part in a gold IRA. Now, we've covered the individual metals, their unique pros, and even touched on tax and estate planning. Let's get practical for a second. What are some key things our listeners should keep in mind about the regulations surrounding precious metals in IRAs?
That's a great question. So the IRS, they've got specific rules about the types and purity of metals that are allowed inside an IRA. For example, gold has to be 99.5% pure, silver needs to be 99.9%, and both platinum and palladium have to be 99.95% pure. So you've got to make sure that you're working with a reputable custodian who knows their stuff when it comes to precious metal IRAs.
Gotcha.
This is key to making sure you're following all the rules.
So you can't just go out and buy any random gold coin or bar you find.
Not exactly. It has to meet those IRS purity standards and come from dealers they approve of. A good custodian, they've got connections with reputable dealers. They can help you navigate all of that.
Okay, so choosing the right custodian is like step one.
It's essential. They'll make sure your investments are kosher, but they'll also give you ongoing support and guidance. They're like your partner in this precious metals IRA journey.
Makes sense.
And speaking of guidance, remember that free checklist we put together? It's at golderablueprint.com, exclusive, and it's jam-packed with tips to help you choose the right gold IRA company.
Yes. That checklist can be super helpful for anyone who's feeling a little overwhelmed. Just to recap what we've learned. Diversifying your gold IRA with other precious metals can potentially lower your risk. You've got opportunities for higher returns, and there are even tax and estate planning advantages. It's all about setting up your retirement savings in a way that sets you up for success.
Exactly.
Any final thoughts?
Just one thing to keep in mind. All sorts of things can affect the demand and value of these metals in the future. Things like what's happening in the world, new technologies, that kind of stuff. When you're making your investment decisions, factor those things in. Stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring this exciting world of precious metals investing.
Amazing advice. This has been such a great deep dive into diversifying a gold IRA. Thanks for being here and sharing all your expertise.
Of course, happy to be here.
And to all our listeners, don't forget to visit golderablueprint.com, exclusive, to snag that free checklist. It's a fantastic resource as you begin your precious metals IRA journey. Until next time, happy investing.
Happy investing.
See ya.